Fun is back on the menu for the Colorado Avalanche. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Postgame show presented by Bet365 as the Avs defeat the St. Louis Blues 5-0 in a game that, let's be honest, the Avs played 20 dominant minutes of hockey, completely steamrolled this team, and then got to take a 40-minute break as they cruised into the victory on this one. That's the type of hockey you want to play. You're setting yourself up for a 5-game run where you feel like you need to win most of these games. Guess what? You just made your life a whole lot easier for the rest of this run if you're the Colorado Avalanche. That's the type of stuff you want to see a good team put together, E.
Yeah, nobody got taxed tonight, that's for sure. I mean, and even if they did, those were not hard minutes because they were just cruising around. Yeah, you're right. If you're going to draw up how to win a game, well, you get a shutout. Therefore, you got some sort of goaltending. I know he wasn't that busy, but you got your power play that scored 2. You got your top line that scored 1. You got your second line that scored a couple. I mean, Kiviranta got on the board. You know what I mean?
Kiviranta.
You know? Right? I mean, what more can you ask for? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I like the way that he challenged him. They responded, and do it again next time, which is Sunday afternoon.
I think that you take a look at how this game played out, and sure, whatever. They were against a backup goalie, and St. Louis isn't a very good team, yada, 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 yada. You can make all these excuses, but this was a team that, when it comes down to it, when they feel like their back's against the wall, when they feel like they need to respond, they went out and they showed up tonight. They went out and said, hey, at the end of the day, we are a good team. Maybe we've had some down stretches in this season. Maybe we haven't performed up to expectations at times this season. But when it comes down to it, if we feel like we need it, we can go out and get it. And this was not close. This was 2 different teams at 2 different levels tonight. And the Avs made it look easy, frankly. And take away the actual scoreboard and take a look at that first period, and you cannot tell me these 2 teams are in the same stratosphere.
No, they're 2 different teams. I mean, you could tell men against boys, right? I mean, that's what it was. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Right from the drop of the puck, it was like, going, shooting, retrieving pucks, controlling play. It was just like, you almost felt bad in the first period for Blackwood, honestly, because I hate those games. If you don't get that lead, you just like, you don't get shots. Your heart rate doesn't move. You know what I mean? Like, you almost have to start skating at TV timeouts and go in the corners and do some squat. I don't know, because they weren't going near him. So, but go back though. I want to take a little further. Like, again, I know it matters. We talked about it on pregame. Winning games what matters. But go back to the Boston game. I thought they played an outstanding 40 minutes. They slept for a couple plays in the third period, and they were clearly a dominant team. The Avalanche were. Then I thought it was a good game against a hot New York Ranger team, and then against the Islanders, I thought they played a good game. It just wasn't their night on the scoreboard, but I didn't mind their game. But again, you don't get bonus points for, it was fine. But at the end of the day, you got 0 points. So I get it. So I think today I like the fact that he challenged them, and I like the fact that they responded. I don't care who you're playing. You can only play the opponent that's in front of you. You say that all the time. That's your line. And that's what they did. And they absolutely crack-kicked them.
Mechanically, this game is not all that different from the Boston game, right? The only difference is the puck went in, and going into the third period, the Avs were up 4-0 instead of being up 1-0.
You're bang on. That's what I'm trying to say. I thought they had the game, they had the puck, they had legs, they made plays, they looked good. I'm trying to remember the Boston game. Like, who scored that goal when they were up 1-0? Was it Parsinan? Or
Yeah, I
anyway, it
believe
doesn't
it was
matter.
Parsonen that scored the goal. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Again, their power play looked decent. It just didn't connect, right? You remember? It was like they got
Yep.
like Nate just hit 3 posts. Is that the game that he had 3 posts? I think so. Or is that the Ranger game? I don't remember. Man, they all
I
blend
think it
together
was the
now.
Ranger game, but
Yeah, but still, like like they look good. They were humming. Um, so yeah, I think it was just a little continuity right now. What's been going on, and what I mean. I think they had that extra day off. They had that practice, and I think from the I like it because this used to be Avalanche hockey for a long time, right?
yep.
Absolutely crack kick teams in the first period and don't give them a chance, and then just cruise through, and that
And,
was
and,
exactly what they did. Yeah.
and let's be honest, like, yes, the second and third periods of this game were not that interesting. The Avs set themselves up with
No,
a
stop.
massive lead and they were able to cruise it in. And that's a good thing. The
Oh
Avs
yeah.
the Avs get to cruise it in. That is the benefit of being such a good team in the first period of this game is yeah, guess what? So when they go into their next game against Philly at 1 p.m. on Sunday, they should be fresh because they didn't have to skate themselves into the ground against the St. Louis team. They got to coast it in. Their second line played Casey Middlestat barely played 10 minutes tonight. And we can get into that conversation of why that is and how you feel about it. But part of that conversation is he didn't play a lot tonight. They're going to expect Casey to show up against Philadelphia on Sunday. They get that luxury of having dominated this game, so they get to be fresh for Sunday.
I didn't even look. I'm going to look right now. I forgot to look at the ice time, but
I
yeah,
can
I
tell you
mean
right now.
you're right. Yeah, I was just going to look right now, but I just
Yeah.
feel that. Um, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Casey played 10-20. Parsonen 9:38. That's two guys that are your second line. Played 10 minutes tonight, essentially. Your third line guys, Colton played 13, Miles 12, Jack Drury 14, Kiviranta got some extra time at 14. Drouin, who is arguably the Avs' best player tonight, only played 14 minutes. You got some guys
Some PP.
yeah, right. They certainly didn't burn their legs out tonight. Even your top guys. And your top guys played a lot. McKinnon, Natchez, both 20 minutes each. Lucky 21 minutes. They played a lot, but they're not pushing into that 23, 24, 25. Oh, God, you're worried about them burning themselves out level of ice time. The Avs had three defensemen over 20 minutes, Taze, Girard, and Makar. And even your guys that didn't. Manson played 18 tonight. Middleton played 16:30. Malinsky, 15 minutes. It's a well-balanced time on ice for the Colorado Avalanche as a whole, which is the right they earned by dominating this first period and running away with this game.
No, I love it, and just look at the number of shifts on the back end. You go from everyone at least 20 shifts. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
20 to 27, right? Obviously, with the minutes ranging in there of couple shorter ones, as you know. On the third pair, usually get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
If there's a whistle and there's a draw, and then all of a sudden they get taken out. But I get that. But at least they got out there. They got out there. You know what I mean? And you're right. I think it should give you some fresh legs. The Avalanche do pretty good usually on matinee games lately.
They do.
I think they should be ready to go. You're right because the ice time, even Mac, like 20 minutes, that's nothing, right? As we know. Um, I mean, they played what 25 the other day in New York or Boston. I
Yep.
don't remember.
Yep.
Well, right around there. So, yeah. So it was like a night off for those guys, Natchez, and
It's
yeah.
the
It
thing
was
we
well. It was
haven't.
that's
Yeah, the Avs haven't set themselves up for success enough this year. This game, absolutely setting themselves up for success. Not obviously they played great and they dominated the game. Yeah. But they set themselves up for success going forward.
absolutely. And then if you're like you said, if you're Casey and you look at it and you're like, boy, I got the least amount of any forward, right? Give and take. Does he? Is
Second
he the
least.
least?
Parsonen was less, yeah.
Is his partner?
Yeah, the second line played the least, for sure.
You can read. I mean, I don't know. Well, you can read into it. I don't know. Who knows?
I
I don't.
let me ask, do you read into it? You don't? Because I don't. I don't think this is particularly meaningful.
No, I don't. Sometimes it's like I don't know. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I like Casey. I do. I know it's been a lot of critics, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to call that on, um, lately of his play. I don't know. Is it because they're sometimes it's like it is like I don't care what people say. The week is what sorry, the break is like, 2-3
two
weeks, whatever
two
it is, and
weeks
then it's
basically. Yeah.
so you're basically a few games before trade deadline. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So sometimes is it like do you have something cooking and you don't want the guy to get hurt? I'm just saying
Don't
I
put
don't
that
want
in
to
people's
like
minds, Z. Don't
I'm
put
just
that in
saying, but
people's
it's true.
minds.
I'm just saying that sometimes, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what happens. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying. But it's true. Sometimes you'll pull the brakes a little bit on you on someone, put the reins back a little bit, because you thought you had something and it didn't go through. Then you're like, okay, maybe we'll pick it up tomorrow. I don't know. I don't. I don't want to get people's like hopes up or down. You know what I mean? For that matter, like I said, because I like him. I was just saying
I,
it's kind of
what I
a little weird, but
what I will say is this: I don't think it's particularly performance based. Parsonen had a assist in this game. That second line finished +1. Middlestat and Parsonen were two of your best possession forwards in this game in the little bit of time that they did play. Yes, their minutes were reduced, but that is not necessarily a punishment. I won't. That's what I will say, because the reality is, and Bednar said it before the game, the Avs are going out, and every game for these last handful of games before the break, they're trying to win them all, and so
absolutely.
expectations will be higher from Casey in the next game. You're looking at what they did tonight, and you're saying, okay, you guys got the rest. You guys barely played 10 minutes in this game, so when it comes out against Philadelphia on Sunday, hey, maybe those guys play 16, 18, 19, 20 minutes, and you need to produce. That's what you're asking them to do, is you're asking them to pick up the team in the next game because you had an easier night. And part of that is the power play and things. The Avs power play scores 2 for 2 in the first period. Just the way the game played out, the Avs did not need to utilize their second line aggressively. They set themselves up to roll 4 lines all night, and that's the way that it worked. I understand where you come to the conclusion that, hey, maybe the second line didn't play a lot tonight. I just don't think that this is one to read into. It's just the way the game played out, and it's just the way the lines are rolling.
No, and again, I know I agree with Mishnish there. Like I like Casey. You know that Casey is one. He's a guy that I wouldn't touch, and I've said it, and I'll say it again. I like Casey. I think he's going to find his way. Um, what I'm trying to say is the way the Avs lineup is, and if you're not on that top power play, um, and now they're getting some depth in a sense. Look at Jack Drury and you know what I mean? All of a sudden, those guys are playing. A guy like that will play 14, 15 minutes just because of the type of game that he plays. And, what I'm trying to say is I tell you all the time, without the great ice, it's tough to produce in this league. And I'm just trying to connect that with Casey. You know what I mean? Like if you're not on the top power play and you're playing 10 minutes a night, 12 minutes a night, whatever. I'm not saying he played bad. I didn't say that. And I know Bednar said they played good. Of course, again, 5-0 game. Everybody played good. I'm with you. I'm not reading into it. I'm just saying the production that people want from him, like, 70 points, it's just not going to be there just because of, again, you're getting, I hate that word, but, crummy ice at times. You know what I mean? And tonight's a perfect example. A good game, but again, you look back and it's 10 minutes of ice time. You know what I mean? So it's hard to produce on a nightly basis. You know what I mean? If you're not
Of course.
getting the grade, I'm actually defending him. So I'm not on his case. I'm actually defending the guy. So
And like, no argument, he was not the Avs' best player tonight. Probably not even the top 5. And that's fine.
mm-hmm.
The Avs got it scoring from elsewhere tonight. So great. I genuinely have zero bad feelings about this game. This is about as good as a game as the Avs can play. Obviously, the first period ridiculously dominant, and then they didn't have to put in the effort necessarily for the second and third periods of trying to eke out every little bit. They were up 4-0 and they got to coast at home a little bit here. And I know we talk about coast at home, but let's be honest, they gave the Blues nothing. The Blues had 19 shots in total in this hockey game. It's not like the Blues came out and said, we're going to push back in the second period and we're going to fight back and make this a hockey game. This was never close. This game was never remotely dangerous for St. Louis.
No, and that's what I love when the Avalanche come out swinging like this, and I love that. Jonathan Drouin. We play baseball in Montreal, Corona. That's what we do. You know what I mean? That's what we do. And he was like showing his baseball skills, and But I just what I liked about the Avs first period is, again, you like what is it, 21 shots or whatever. I don't even know what the shot attempts were, but right? I mean, they were. That's what I mean. Like they would shoot a puck, they would retrieve it, they were skating. Look at Nature's goal. It's neutral zone. It's skating. The power play connects for two. Kel McCarr shooting a puck. Everyone's shooting a puck. You know what I mean? Like it was a business like approach, and that's what I liked about their game tonight. And that's there was no excuses tonight. Again, we had talked about it. They had that one day off, right? And then all of a sudden went to work yesterday at practice, and then today, a regular game. And there was no excuses. If you come out flat, it's not acceptable because we have to start playing some playoff hockey. You know what I mean, so to speak. And that's why he challenged them to play playoff hockey, and that's what they did. I thought it was outstanding, and I don't care if you play like that every night and you're up 4-0 and you make an average second and third period. I got no problem with that.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. We're going to get into a few specific players here in a minute, but first we got to pay some bills for you. So let's hit up that and make sure, especially with a game like tonight, that you're living well. Get with Live Well today. Their objective is just to make sure cannabis is available to everyone and that you can live well. 25 different locations here in Colorado for Live Well, and they have incredible staff which will help you through the process. Or if you're a veteran, you can just pick what you want, pay for it, and get out of there. Best part is you can get 25% off any full price product at Live Well with code DNVR25 in store. So go get with them, whether it's topicals, whether it's flower, whether it's gummies, whether it's any product under the sun. When it comes to cannabis, Live Well has you covered. Jump on with them. You can also order online for pickup to make your connection easy. You just have to roll into the store. And again, make sure you mention that DNVR25 code to get 25% off in store, or go to livewell.com to order online. Get with them and make sure you live well today. Once you've got Live Well, make sure that you are going make sure that you are going to get your next sponsor on our list that definitely didn't just get completely deleted from my list. Shady Rays. Thank you, Tiff. Go get with Shady Rays. Jump in with Shady Rays today. 35% off any pair of polarized sunglasses from the company that has over 300,000 five-star ratings. Use code DNVR with Shady Rays to get that 35% off. You can get any pair of polarized sunglasses, different colors, different styles, you name it. They even have correction for your vision if you want to get those sunglasses and you're a blind person like me. Jump in with them. Go get it. Jump on it. And the best part is the first 30 days after you get a pair, if you don't like them, you lose them, or you break them, Shady Rays will replace them completely for free. It's the best deal on the planet. Go jump on with ShadyRays.com today. Make sure you use that DNVR code. Support us over at Shady Rays and get with them. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. Let's get into our 3 stars of the game here, because I think there are some significant standout players in this game. Look, star number 3, I think you could have gone a lot of ways. Plenty of options here. But I went with Marty Necas. A goal tonight, his first actual goal as an Av. He continues to be one of the top producing Avalanche players since joining the team. The name of the game for me, for Marty, with the Avs is consistency. He's brought a level of consistency that the Avs haven't had enough of this season, and I think it's really good to have some stability in the Avs top 6 with him consistently bringing the same things every single night.
I'm really impressed by him. Like I said I'll say it again. I would have never put him into the superstar category. I put Miko in the superstar category. Obviously, we've been doing this for years now in Denver, and us here at DNVR, obviously covering the Avs on a daily basis. But I'll tell you one thing: there's a lot more to Marty Necas than I thought there was. When you put him in an environment like this, and there's McKinnon and McCarr, and I think you're only scratching the surface with him. I'm talking about on point production. I'll say it now. I do believe he reaches 100 points in his career in a season in the Avalanche. If you still have McKinnon and McCarr and guys like that, obviously playing, I do believe he complements them so well. I'm so impressed by his speed. I'm shocked, even though I have seen him play multiple times live and over the years, but I never really looked at him the way we look at him now because he's one of the Avalanche players that we look at every day. And why, woof, you mix that with McKinnon's speed, and it's a double threat right now, speed wise. And he can stick handle through a phone booth while moving. You saw that in his goal there. That is pretty sick. To release it, go. People are going to say, "Oh, that's a bad goal by the goalie." Well, you go and try to stop that shot. You'll see it's not that easy. When a guy comes in, you don't know when he's going to release. He cannot read the release. The goalies, I've told you before, they read releases. He's not showing you anything on his release, so it's hard to read. Milan Hayduk was like that with his shot. Obviously Marty uh, can release it the way Milan does it. If he does that in an Avalanche, we're going to see a lot of goals, a lot of goals.
I'm almost not worried about the type of production, whether it's goals or assists with Marty. He's proving that he is an elite play driver, and I think that's the most important thing. Because the Avs, between McKinnon and him, it's almost unstoppable, the amount of pressure they put on teams when it comes to entering the zone, forcing pucks in the right direction, and putting the other teams on the back foot. We do have the post-game interview from the locker room with Necas here. So let's hear what he had to say after that game.
Yeah, felt good. I mean, good start for us. It was a big game, got to get on the little streak here, on the little heater, and, it's a good start. So felt great. The, crowd was popping, and it was fun.
How much more comfortable do you feel getting your first home game out of the way?
Yeah, I mean, it was always fun to play against, Avs here. Obviously, always tough ring to play against, and be on the other side was great. So big game, big win for us, and just you gotta build on that.
Do you feel like you're getting more comfortable with the systems and your line mates?
Yeah, I feel like we're building a little chemistry. Obviously, there's still things to improve, but that's just practice after practice, day by day, and I think we're gonna be good.
Do you feel like they struggled with your guys' pace in that first period?
Yeah, I thought we came out good. Lots of energy. We wanted to have a good first, and great ozone time, good power plays, and it got us going.
Thanks so much.
It makes sense, right? It feels easy at times when players like Marty come in here, and when Avalanche hockey is at its best, I don't know that there's a team in the league that can keep up.
Oh no! And when they come at you in the drop of the puck and they go, that's what I said. That's Avalanche hockey, and they come at you in waves, and it's literally in waves. Whether it was Wood and Colton today, like on the forward track, and Logan, and you know what I mean, and then obviously the high end talent of the first line with Marty and McKinnon. But then don't forget, I thought Parsonen, that's a couple nifty plays. I thought on the Drouin goal there, that's a nifty little play. I mean, that's a skill play. It may sound like nothing, like a nothing burger. It's actually knows what he's doing, puts it on the back and flips it up front. That's pretty sick. Again, that's Avalanche hockey when they come at you in waves, and I think that he's going to be a big part, obviously, of, like you said, play driving is at his best. I mean, this guy's got the puck on the string the whole game. So far, the 5 games he's been there, he's got the puck on his stick all the time. I mean, it's kind of easy, man. Right now. Oh, my God, he's a good player. He's a good player. Very good player.
A guy who maybe had an easy night at second star, but still got the job done. A much-deserved shutout for Mackenzie Blackwood, a guy who feel like he's given the Avs a lot. We talked about in pregame. Maybe the last couple of games hasn't been his best. You get the rebound tonight. And yes, the Avs played great in front of him. Okay, cool. He still had to get the job done. He still made 19 saves to earn his shutout tonight. And having that guy behind the Avs, again, we've talked about it. Just to reiterate it, it's incredible how much confidence it gives a team when you have a goalie behind you.
You do. And again, I got nervous a little bit in that first period because they weren't giving up anything. And as you know, I tell you all the time, sometimes I just, I'm making mistakes. So the goalie gets into the game. I hate it. But again, he's going to have to get accustomed to that. And I think he has. I think he has gone accustomed to that a little bit, grown accustomed to some games. And then there's some games that he's really busy and, he gets 7, 8 high danger chances in a period and has done the job. It's just lately the puck has gone in a little bit for him. I think he responded to the coach's challenge and, again, he was perfect and whatever was thrown at him. So it's hard to fault him tonight to say he didn't have he wasn't that busy, but whatever he had, he did it to perfection. That's how you get a bagel, and obviously you responded to the challenge issued by Bednar to him and the rest of the team. So it was good.
It literally cannot play any better. He can't make the game harder for himself. He made every single save he was faced with. Mm-hmm. So you gotta give him credit. A shutout's a shutout on any given night. And I didn't curse this one, chat. It's not my fault. All right. I said shutout in the first period and he got it. Okay. You can't blame me on this one. It wasn't me. First star should be obvious tonight. Jonathan Drouin with a 3-point night was an absolute monster. I had people in Twitter telling me that he wasn't worth the money when the Avs are going to give him a raise of north of $5 million this offseason. I'll tell you what. Tonight, he might have just earned that money.
Yeah, we all know what Joe did. Obviously this past off season, he kind of, he chose happiness. He chose, you can't buy happiness. You just can't. And he loved the fact that what he went through here in Denver and, went back and said things are going to work itself out. And, hopefully things will work out for him. I'm sure him and Alan Walsh have been very supportive with Joe and C-Mac and everybody else about the situation the Avalanche were in. I think he didn't care. He saw, wait my turn. And it didn't go his way so far this year because of, that stupid nagging injury that, kept coming back and, he missed so many games. But when he's on, we all know Joe's a good player. He's a dominant player for the Avalanche. And, you didn't realize it last year until he got hurt in the playoffs, and then you were like, oh, man. Like, at the end, you're like, oh, man, we missed that guy. He is a difference maker. He fits in perfectly in here, whether you throw him with, the second line or you throw him on the power play with obviously his buddy McKinnon, the homies, or you throw him on the first line, which, again, he will go back to where some days, Lecky will slide down and he slides in, and depending who the opponent is, I'm pretty sure they're pretty comfortable with playing him there. So obviously they've always played him a lot there last year and this year. So I'm very impressed the way that what he did this summer. But I think now it's time for him, as you know, to really kind of get the production going, and it certainly was a good. Not by his fault. He just hasn't played a lot. He's been injured. Mm-hmm. But if he has nights like tonight, look out, people, because this is a big driver. You're talking about drive. Like, this guy drives play as well.
3 points tonight means 20 points in 20 games for Drouin this year. Yeah, totally. If you have concerns about him being in the lineup regularly, I get it. But when he's in the lineup, he is a key part of the Colorado Avalanche offense. And when you look at his points tonight, a 5-on-5 goal to get you started, a great skill play to knock a puck out of midair, a power play goal where a scrambly puck where he finds it on a stick, doesn't overthink, puts a puck on net and it goes in. And then a secondary assist to help set up their second power play goal on the night. That's a dude who is setting up and executing on plays, both sides of it when it comes to the Avs offense, which you feel like at times hasn't been doing a good enough job executing. It's incredible how important play like that is from especially, I don't want to call him a secondary guy, but he's not Nathan McKinnon level, right? That the next guys down the line for Colorado, Drouin has been a significant impact player for them on the offensive side when he's in the lineup. He did get the big hat tonight. We do have his post-game interview as well. So let's hear what Jonathan Drouin had to say after this one.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but it's shooting, retrieving. I thought we were forechecking well too. There was a pace to our game in that first period where I haven't seen in a while, to be honest. And it's nice to see that we have it. We know we have it. It's just about doing it. And I like how we locked the game down. The last two periods weren't like the first, but we just locked it down. We knew we had the lead and played smart.
Bednar described the games leading up to the formations break as a playoff environment.
Yep.
How would you describe the compete tonight?
Yeah, that's exactly how we played, I think, especially that first period, the compete. And like I said, the pace, the forechecking, the back-checking, the reloading was all there. And Blackie made some key saves when he had to. So it was a nice group effort tonight. I thought we played very well.
Sorry about that power play. It's a new look on there with benches there. Like, what's different for you guys?
Yeah, it's different. We're kind of rolling on Nate and Marty's side a little bit. Me and Mikko were kind of doing those switches before, and it's kind of switched to that side. So, I like the Rangers power play when we had that one. It's nice to build on that. I thought today we got some chances and made some looks and got shot from Kale from the top. So when we get shots from Kale from the top, we'll create a lot of havoc.
Your line 5-5 was a pretty good possession line tonight. What do you think worked well playing with the other side?
Yeah, Parsons is a big guy. He can protect it down low. He's strong on it. Mitzi sees the game very well. He can make those little tight plays and keep it and hold on to it. So I thought we kept it simple. We didn't try to complicate our game as the whole team kind of did. And it was a good game.
And Mackenzie Blackwood has been giving you guys chances to win every night. How did you guys step up as a team to support him tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Every game that we've not played our best, he's kind of given us a chance to stay in it, or we're 1 goal or 2 goals away, where sometimes it could be 4 or 5. So it's nice to have him back there. He's he gives us a lot of confidence, and he's been playing well ever since he got here. And today is every time you get a shot on the league, it's a hard thing to do, and he played very well.
I know we've talked about this, that you've played on a lot of different lines and played in with different teammates this season, but what is your mentality when you do have to make those changes?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I know my game. I think Betsy knows my game. It's just about me playing it and executing it, and it doesn't really matter who I play with. Obviously, it's fun to play with Nate and those guys. It's one of the best players in the league, but Mitzi plays. I like playing with Mitzi. I think we see the game is kind of the same way, and like I said, Price is a big guy that understands his role. He goes to the net and plays down low.
Martin, from him, and how is he adjusting?
Yeah, I don't know if adjusting is the word. I think he just came in and played very well for us. His speed, his own entries, the way he holds on to the puck. Rarely seen that, to be honest, other than Nate. The way they skate through the neutral zone, it just kind of like blow everyone off. So it's nice to see to have that kind of speed. Obviously, Mikko's going to be missed. He was a hell of a player, but to get Marty on the other side coming back in Drew, it's been a good trade.
How challenging is that for somebody new to come into the system and try and match the pace of Nate and Kale? Yeah,
well, it's hard for everyone, but when you have a pace like Marty, it kind of just jumps right in. And like I said, adjusting has been pretty easy for him. It's a kind of fits our game, the way we play and how fast we want to play. He has that in him, and it's not something you have to teach him.
Thanks.
Marty, just that fast, I guess. You heard it from the horse's mouth with Drew in there. It must be nice. Must be nice to be that good. Obviously, a key piece in Drouin as well. You can watch these guys right now if you head on over to Game Time. Go get the Game Time app today. The Avs are at home. You can get your tickets through Game Time, and make sure to use the Game Time Picks feature, which gets you the best seats for the best prices. I love that we're staring at E right now. This is so funny. Go get with Game Time.
That's what happens when templates are pre-built.
Yeah, it's all good. Game Time, of course, guarantees you not just the best tickets, but the best prices. If you find tickets cheaper somewhere else, Game Time will reimburse your account 110% of the ticket price. So get with them, and it's not just for sports, theaters, concerts, events, you name it. Game Time has you covered with their Game Time Picks feature. Join over 15 million people that use the Game Time app to get their tickets. There's a link down in the description. You can go click that to download it today and get your tickets. What time is it, baby? Is game time. Once you've got your tickets, make sure you're also enjoying life. Go get yourself an ice cold Coors Light. Go use your Coors Light today. It's the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold and ready to drink. And sometimes choosing chill is the right thing. I'm just saying. The second and third periods of this hockey game, that was chill time. That was Coors Light time right there. First period, you went to work. You earned it. You earned your Coors Light in the first period. Second and third period, yeah, you can go enjoy it with the Coors Light. Whether you're chilling on the couch watching the game, whether you're at the DNVR bar enjoying a Coors Light, wherever it might be, Coors Light is the beer to drink when you're chilling. And if you really want, you don't even have to get up off your couch. Use CoorsLight.com/DNVR to get it delivered right to your front door thanks to Instacart today. Jump in with Coors Light, the beer for any occasion. Go get it. Of course, brewed right here in Golden, Colorado. We appreciate them a ton for sponsoring our podcast. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Of course, please drink responsibly, especially with Coors Light. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast here. Let's be honest, this was really a pretty simple one for Colorado. They played great. They earned it. You don't have to get too into the weeds on this one. They were the better team through and through in every facet of this hockey game tonight. You get the extra goal from Kiviranta. Yes, it's a garbage time goal, sure, but does that mean something? Is that a little bit of a confidence builder for this hockey team where it says, hey, we can get it from everywhere?
Absolutely, and even for Kibby, like I said, 5 weeks or whatever it was without a goal. I mean, like, it's kind of nice to get that, like, monkey off your back, whatever you want to call that. Like, it just gets old because it does. It should. I don't know if it does, but it should weigh on you a little bit. After a while, it's like, man, it's been 20 games, whatever it is. I don't remember the last time I'm using a number, but it's been 15 games. He had a hat trick, and I don't think he scored since. So I know you're not counting on the score, but when you're going through a spell of you're not scoring a lot of goals, like think of the last few weeks, then kind of nice, it would have been nice to have a goal here and there for a guy like that. You know what I mean? So gets off on a 5-0 game, not that important, but important for his confidence, right? Not important in the game, but important for his own personal play. And that goes for anybody. You know what I mean? So it's kind of nice just to feel better about your game. It was a nice shot. It just kind of gives you a little, hey, I can beat a goalie. You know what I mean? I can, if I get there, where does he go? He goes to the house, right? Goes to Sexy Pizza right there. He gets it, he shoots it. That's where you score goals from. You just don't score a goal from the outside, or unless the goalie's really crappy that night. You know what I mean? But it's just the way it is, right? So it's kind of nice. The power play gets involved. Pretty much every line gets involved. I think the third line didn't. Oh, they played well. They didn't get rewarded with a goal, but they get those 14, 15 minutes there, whatever it is their ice time was. But and at the end of the day, you feel good. You feel good, and like I said, on D, everybody had 20+ shifts. You know what I mean? So you feel better. You feel good. You move on. Tomorrow's an extra a different day, and you figure it out, and you get yourself ready for a matinee on Sunday.
100%. It's hey, pat yourself on the back for playing a great game, but you have to go out and do it again on Sunday. This is not.
That's right.
This team is too good to be celebrating one individual good, successful game, and they've gone too long without winning 2 games in a row. This is a good start. You can feel good about it, but it's about what you string together over the next week before the break. So there is more to this conversation for that than the Avs. For the Avs, I should say. You're going to have to go out and get it done. With that being said, I do think there are some interesting conversations in chat about availability of players. And I think this is an interesting conversation, not necessarily related to tonight, especially when it becomes Val Nichushkin in this conversation. And I'm not going to get into the player assistance program stuff. That is what it is. Obviously, Val is fighting that battle on his own. It is the Avs clearly have faith in him as they were willing to keep him around and have this conversation. I don't really want to talk about that. I don't think that's relevant to this conversation. What I will say, yes, Nichushkin is out right now. He is injured. But I think it's pertinent to remember in the Avs Cup run, that was a guy playing through a broken foot. When it comes down to it, if the Avs need that guy, the physical side of it is not something I'm worried about with Val Nichushkin. Come playoff time, he'll get out there. He can play hurt. He can do those types of things. And I think it's important to remember, and people can have conversations whatever they want, with some of the Avs regular season struggles. But ultimately, the Avs end goal, the regular season is about making the playoffs. They're not that worried about it. When it comes to the playoffs themselves, that's where they're going to need players to show up and get the job done. And in my opinion, at very least, it does feel like this is a team that when the chips are down, these guys will show up and play.
Yeah, and one reason they've won. They've done it.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so, and it's amazing because it's infectious. Guys that have never done it, they look at it and they're like, oh, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? This is how you train every day. This is how you get ready every day. This is how you get organized. This is how you fight through things. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it. When the chips are all in, those guys will be there. And they've always been there, and they'll continue to be there.
100% agree. I think that's a good way to put it. We do have a little bit more to talk about, but we also have Jared Bednar's thoughts on this game. Let's hear his post-game presser on probably one of the best Avs games in a while.
This chair's gotta go.
Is it that chair?
Yeah, it's good for today.
Got a couple out here if you want.
Yeah. It's the second or third time in a row it's like this.
Get rid of that one. Question for Jared.
You had some pretty strong words after the last game about it being go time. Just, is that what you were looking for?
It is, yeah. I thought, number one, like, focus, right? Their preparation was good, so focused. And then, like, there wasn't any, like gaps in our game, you know what I mean? Like, all four lines going again, so no passengers. And really no lapses. Like, I felt like our focus on the details of our game, along with like the competitiveness you need, the determination. They were communicating on the ice, which I like to see. PK did its job. Power play did its job. Great bounce back game from our goaltending. Played with a real good conscience on the defensive side of things to limit chances. And the first, like, really like the offense in the first. Like, a lot of shot attempts. I think it was 31, 20-plus shots. That slowed down a little bit for me in the second, but we encouraged them to kind of get back to it again in the third. And just all-around good hockey game from our group.
You put Drouin on that second line with Parson and Middlestat, and you had 2 goals tonight. What impressed you the most about his game?
I thought, number one, they played with a really good conscience on the defensive side of things. I thought Mitty was really good arriving in D-zone coverage and down low. They were competitive enough to win a bunch of puck battles and then make some plays. They got that goal going to the net, you know, which I like. It's part of their attack. They're going to have to send bodies to the net and simplify it at times as well. I like the way all those guys skated. I like the way they competed. I like, their structure was great. I thought I'll look through their shifts, but it was a really good line tonight, and that's, the last big one that they had at home. They won us that game, and then they've been a little bit quiet. Drouin seems to have a little chemistry with Middlestat, so, and I think Parsons' game just keeps coming and coming. He's chipping in more frequently here recently, so should has the makings of what should be a good line.
When it was 3-4-0, they started to kind of ramp up the physicality, and you guys also answered back, but you didn't cross over the line. Was that kind of like a point of emphasis on the bench to not fall for anything they might try to?
Yeah, well, I just think, like, you get those goals early, they're going to try to do something to turn the tide. So there's 2 aspects to it. Stay disciplined, okay? But we're not going to let anyone, we shouldn't be letting anyone, like, be physical or over the top on us, because we have that ability too, and we can be competitive and smart. And I like, Josh goes out, gets a big hit, draws a penalty, we score again, and that was the start of it. Middleton goes out, and their one guy was getting pretty rough with a few guys, and Middleton goes out and has words with him, and I think that's what it takes. It's identifying that on your own as a player. If that's part of your DNA and part of your ability, it's also part of your ability to be able to help our team. So we're not getting pushed out of games or getting taken advantage of in certain situations when we have a lead or when we're down either. So I like that response too.
It just was already on a career pace to set a new high scores his first goal in an Avs uniform. Where do you see the possibilities for a player like that, a ceiling here in Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, it's high. I mean, I think he does so many things well, and he's got great offensive instincts. But, I mean, I think he's going to be able to contribute on a nightly basis if he's playing well and their line's playing well. If they're doing the right things, they're going to find opportunities. And you know, he gets in the slot, shoots it. I think he's got a really good shot, and we need to encourage him to shoot. If he shoots more, he'll score more. You know, now he is a fantastic playmaker as well, so there's a balance there, and you're playing with Nate, so you want to give the puck up a little bit. But I think as they get to know one another, I think both those guys can not only be dishers to one another, I think they have to encourage each other to shoot, and I think the ceiling is really high. Yeah.
He's a guy that can obviously skate really well, but in some ways are you surprised that he's been able to hit the ground running so quickly with Nate and Kale?
You're always hoping for that chemistry. I wouldn't say I'm surprised though. Like just studying his game, it's that is the strength of his game, right? Transition, being able to skate pucks, maneuver through the neutral zone, keep possession, ozone entries. Like that is the number one strength of his game. So that part of it doesn't really surprise me. I guess maybe the way him and Nate are playing off one another with very little practice, and like looks like it's coming really naturally, and they'll continue to work at it too. Like we've talked about the conversations that they're having and the leadership from Nate, and both guys like taking an active role and in their improvement of their line and being able to try to be more dangerous. So I'm sure that's even going to get better and better as they play more together.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
Always nice when you get a positive post-game presser from Bedsy. It feels like it hasn't happened often enough, but it's okay to feel good about this team when they play well. I'll put it to you that way. We're going to take a 1-second pause here, and then we'll get into our last segment of the show. All right. How much of this is, hey, one feel-good game, you can feel good about it, but back to work, and how much of this is, we are a good team. We should feel good about this. We should carry this feeling going forward. Where do you strike the balance of hard work and remembering that this is who you are capable of being?
No, you nailed it right there. It's take the swag, take the confidence, this is who you are. I don't want to hear like, oh, you played a bad opponent. No, I mean, that's not important. The Avalanche should never have to worry about the opposition because they're a top, you're an elite team, top tier team, and you have top tier speed. And if you do that, teams will get after you. Don't worry about the other teams. Just go out there, lay out the foundation right off the bat, and get engaged right away. They're engaged from the drop of the puck tonight. And I think you have to take the confidence from it, take the swag. You should have swag because you are dangerous, and that goes for any team in the National Hockey League. If you're playing them, you're like, whoa, hold on a second. This is a dangerous team. So I think that you take what you take from the first period, obviously second and third period. It is what it is. But you know what? You got to bring it back, like you said, Sunday, or else this means nothing tonight, right? You know what I mean? You got to stop with this good, bad, no more. No more. That's your identity. Go play to your identity, and then meet that and combine that with hard work, and then throw some passion in there. It's a winning combination. Your goalie is going to get back, or whatever. Those Home Depot brothers are going to get back in there. Whatever it's Wedgwood or Blackwood or whatever it is. They're going to make the saves. You know what I mean? You're not all of a sudden pucking and gonna see an eye through shots and get in the net, and you're going to go back into a stretch right now of 5, 6, 7, 8 games where Blackwood and Wedgwood put up incredible numbers. So take advantage of it. Now it sounds like your power play might be out of its misery. You know what I mean? Because it was really miserable. It was miserable. Let's not be afraid of words. Yeah. It was miserable. And again, see what it does when you score a couple like that. Next thing you know, you're not 1-0, and you're not off a bad bounce in the second period. Instead, you're up by multiple goals, and you never look back. So yeah, so it's kind of fun. It's exciting, and I think you just go back and do it again Sunday, and then you worry about the road trip, and then you take a break.
There was someone in chat a while ago who said it. I forget who it was, but you look at this Natchez trade and the jump that him and Drury, to be honest, have had in the Avs lineup. And I know they're only 2-2 on the record, but you look at those games. Most of the Boston game, they played pretty well. You feel pretty good about how they played the other night, too, even in a loss. Was this trade a little bit of a wake-up call for the Avalanche lineup, B?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think that, again, it hurts when you lose someone, because they've been there for so long. It hurts. It hurts your feelings. It hurts it hurts the fan base. It hurts everything. But then you're looking back after and you're like, wow, I mean, if we, again, I'm going to say it again, I left him no choice. And he made a business decision. So did the Avalanche. But when you look at their decision, pretty good. I mean, if you're talking about Marty Natchez, is a pretty good player. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're on to something here. You know what I mean? So we're on to something, and then we're on to a little bit more space right now to, again, arguably do something else. We all know they're going to do something else. And then you got Jack. Don't forget about Jack. He just, even tonight, he didn't score a goal. You don't want him to score a goal every night. That's not what he does. You know what I mean? Yep. But if he does, he can score. He did it a couple games in a row. But he just got pace, and he's abrasive. He just gets on pucks. He makes things happen. And I think they've been in need of that. We've so many times last week, remember, we kept saying after each game, like, man, where is the little bit of abrasiveness is a better word than oomph, you know what I mean? But so I think you're getting it now. And I think that you're right. It is a wake-up call, you know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, let's go now. Let's stop with this, seesaw, up, down, win one, lose one. You know what I mean? Let's get going. And then all of a sudden it's like, if they're willing to go fix their goaltending like they did as an organization, midway through a season, and if they're willing to do what they did a couple days ago, whatever it was, because they needed to do it, then you better get your act in gear. You know what I mean? Everybody else, because they're not afraid to pull the trigger, and they're not afraid to go and make the team better than what it is. So I think you're right. It might have been a little bit of a wake-up call, but I do believe, like you said, they're 2-2. I do believe they could have been 4-0, but again, coulda, woulda, shoulda doesn't work. You know what I mean? But at 2-2, I'll take it, and especially if you're going a little bit of a run right now, because it's certainly fun to watch.
Briefly wanted to touch on the D-core tonight. The Avs' best possession defenseman on the night, Josh Manson. Keaton Middleton adds in another point. That's 2 points in his last 2 games. You also had good possession metrics from Sam Girard and Devon Taves. Makar scores a power play goal for you. Does it feel like this D-core is coming back together a little bit? It's finding the version of itself that it should be, or do you think there is some tinkering still to do?
I still think there's some tinkering, and like you just said, hey, listen, I'm not going to tell you that what an opponent the St. Louis Blues were tonight. If I'm Jim Montgomery, I'm not very pleased with my effort tonight. You know what I mean? Honestly, I would be like, hey, God, I know we don't have the best roster in the world, but we have more in the tank than this. I mean, there's a couple guys there that honestly look like they went out the night before and they had no gas in the first period. They were like, oh my God, they had nothing. And you're watching, they hadn't played since Monday. It's not like those guys played 2 days ago or the night before.
Yeah.
They hadn't played in 3 days. Come on. They looked like they were carrying not 1, 2, but 3 pianos on their backs. And you know what I mean? And it was like, whoa, where are they going? The guy can't even turn. You know what I mean? It looked like he had a rough night, you know what I mean, the night before. But again, the opponent was not the greatest. But I do believe on the back end, they need to shore up a little bit and just see how this is going to play out.
Okay. Fair enough. Not going to argue with that. I really have zero nitpicks with the Avs lineup tonight. It was all good. There was very little negative to talk about tonight. If I'm really, really trying, I guess, maybe 2 unnecessary penalties in this game, but if you're going to take a penalty when you're up 4-0 is a fine time to do it. It's hard for me to really give you a negative tonight?
No, I totally agree with you. You're really nitpicking.
Yeah.
You would answer that. You would answer that only if somebody's telling you, like, you got to tell me one bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah. Other than that, it was a pretty smooth sailing. I think I go back to, I like the challenge that he sent to his team because he talked about it in his presser this morning, but he talked
Yep.
about it in the locker room, obviously, with his team, his players, and I love the way they responded. And the guys are flying, and it's kind of like I said, I loved it, but I'll love it even more if you can bring it back Sunday afternoon again
Yeah.
and do it again and again, right? You know what I mean? So,
Of course.
and I'm talking about with getting the results, right? With getting the results. Even though they did play well decently in that last road trip, but then, lost the road trip with 1 win, 2 losses. Just not good enough at this time of year. There's no cut up oranges and juice boxes. It's results.
They got the result tonight, and in easy fashion. We do have at least one super chat to get to here, so let's hit that before our final thoughts. $5 from Jasper, who says, F the Blues, that's what we needed tonight. Good job, boys. Cheers to a solid Friday night game. Amen to that. That's the good vibes. The good vibes are happening tonight with this one. And if you want to bring the good vibes along, make sure you're getting part of the DNVR takeover at the end of February. Avs taking on Minnesota at February 28th. We're taking over a suite at Ball Arena. It's going to be an awesome event. Just being at the suite at the game is going to be sick, but it's more than just that. We're going to have amazing guests there. I won't spoil them, but pretty cool people are going to be in the suite with us. And you get a free beer on the bus to and from the arena from the bar. So it's just a great deal all the way around. There you go. The official suite takeover from DNVR Avalanche. You can get your tickets over at thednvr.com/events. Go sign up today and become part of the crew. Have a great time. If you don't want to go with us, I get it. Things are expensive. I understand. If you want free tickets and a sick experience to the game, the end of March, the Avs are playing the Blues, and Breck Brew is giving away tickets to the Ice Deck. 6 seats on the glass, down low in Ball Arena, with a cool little bar atmosphere at them. It's an amazing place. If you haven't gone out there, you got to go check it out. Go get with Breck Brew. Go check out these tickets. BreckBrew.com. You can go find the sweepstakes, get signed up, and win yourself some sick Avalanche tickets. Jump in either way. One way or another, you got to go do it. It's fun. Good hockey is fun. I wish the Avs had played more good hockey recently, but games like that give you confidence that the Avs can do it, and hopefully they go out and do it for these next 4 games up into the break. Obviously, you've said it already on this pod a couple of times. You got to keep this rolling. You got to keep doing it. But 2-2 record these last 4. How willing are you to overlook the actual results given how well the Avs have played across those 4 games?
No, I am willing, like I said, because usually it's the law of averages when you do the right thing. And that's what he's preaching. That's what he's preaching in the locker room. That's what he's preaching on a day off or the day after a game. It's go, guys, more often than none, than not. If we keep playing this way, we keep doing these things, then there's a certain amount of metrics he does show them, right? You know what I mean, like our numbers and whether it's zone entries or whatever. Where did they generate that offense, and where did it start? Where did it go? Where did you create something out of nothing? And obviously, if the numbers are there and then they're hitting those things that they're wanting to hit, then at the end of the day, you get wins more often than none. You know what I mean? And goaltending, it's been there. I don't think it's been poor lately. It's just that the puck found a way to get in multiple times, you know what I mean, where all of a sudden it was deflected or whatever it is, where he was making the saves before, then he wasn't. You're not going to go through a stretch where you stop everything. So I do believe that it's more preaching about this and to make sure that, you keep doing it and you keep coming in with a positive attitude. And like you said, if they keep playing like this, like the 4 games they played, you can go on a run. And as you know, you go on a run of 10 games, you're going to get away with some games where you didn't belong or you didn't deserve it, and you actually did. You get away with it. So this is kind of the law of averages. And, I don't like the 2-2, the last 4, but I do like the way they played. I just didn't like the way they finished a few times, where if they could have gotten an extra one, or the power play get an extra one. But again, the power play is coming from very, very, very far away in my book, but it's starting to look good again, and it can be deadly, absolutely, with the weapons that they have.
We almost made it through a whole show without talking about the power play. It was great tonight, 2 for 4. You can't be upset with that. Yeah, you can't be mad with how that power play put up the results tonight. I don't know that I agree that the Avs need to find a 2C. I do think they need to find a center, maybe more of a 3C, if I'm honest. But I do think the Avs will make moves come trade deadline time. They are not a team that's going to sit on their laurels. They understand the score. They know they're trying to do the big thing. We'll see how it plays out over the next 2 months. Really month and a half until the deadline.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it at that. We are going to get out of here for the night. We appreciate all of y'all hanging out. We are off tomorrow, but we'll be back on Sunday covering another matinee game for the Avs. For tonight, look out for AJ's written pieces and my video if you're staying up super late for a Friday night. But either way, we'll have that content for you. We appreciate all y'all, and I guess we'll talk to you again on Sunday. Until then, we'll see you later.
We all silly like the mayor.